Something's been on my mind, and I usually get a lot of these ideas in the morning, not ideas, but these things that cross my mind because I find them odd and I find them peculiar, and I just sometimes wonder if other people think the same way that I think, which is not necessarily the case, and which is very rare in some instances. But anyways, I wanted to dismantle the whole black men ain't spit myth. And I was thinking of some things. I was bringing up some great ideas or great points to myself to break down this so-called statistic. And one reason why I'm not a fan of statistics and I don't like statistics is because you can sway them towards your argument. For example, one of the concepts I came up with was someone who takes a lot of time off from work, but when they're there, they're very productive. Well, you can skew it either way. You can say, well, if you showed up more, then you could be even more productive than you are. Or you could say, the fact that you take a lot of time off, and then when you're here, you're more productive, must means that when you take all this time off, that you're resting, you're recouping, and so when you show up, you're more better prepared. See how you get two different arguments from one set of statistics, which is why I don't like statistics. Which led me to believe, or not believe, but led me to want to break down this myth of black men ain't spit. I'm just saying that because I'm trying not to swear, and I'm trying to clean up my language, especially having children. I don't want to let words slip out, so I've been trying to consciously not swear. So I was running through my mind. I said, let's propose a theory in general that the whole community of black men are really not spit. They're not worth spit. One maybe of two things should begin to start happening. One, you would see in a logical, if you think in a logical linear fashion, or cause and consequence, cause and effect. If you're dealing with a group of men who are not worth anything, they don't do nothing, they're bumps on the log, all they do is have babies and don't take care of them. Let's just run with that. Let's just say the whole black male community and all the black men in the community is like that. Let's just say for hypothetical theory. Wouldn't at some point you'd stop dealing with those group of people? In a logical linear line, wouldn't you say, these black men, all they want to do is have sex. They don't want to handle their responsibilities. Therefore, I'm not going to date black men anymore. I'm not going to speak to them. I'm not going to look at them. I'm not even going to have a thought about them because they are not worth my time. Wouldn't you think that? This is why it's important to have, one, to have a life, and two, have life experiences. Why do I say that? Well, because I was one of those good guys that finished last kind of dude. And before any sarcastic a-hole wants to come and try to say, oh, he's just hurt. I'm married, happily married, and I have a little son, which I love very dearly. So, no, I'm not hurt about it. But I just want to share my experiences because I feel like at this point, at this stage in the game, it's very glaringly obvious that it's not the black men's fault. It really isn't. Here's the thing. The women in any community sets the standard. Therefore, if having an education or whatever you value being someone of value. So let's just run with this theme. Let's say having a good job, having an education, having a decent amount of income, being able to be responsible, being able to hold down a household. This is the foundation of what the female in any particular, I'm not specifically saying black, white, whatever, but I'm just saying in general, if this is the baseline, this is the foundation of even if you get an opportunity, if you don't have that, you don't even get an opportunity to talk to a female. So let's say you have all of that. Okay, so now that makes you available to a particular female. who values that. Because if in the community, if the female values that, the man, this is just by nature, the man will do what it takes to get the woman. Right? That's logic. Linear line fashion logic. Woman wants, in order for you, a woman says she desires these things. The man says, well, I desire you. So therefore, if I want to get you, I will give you what you desire. Okay, so now, let's run this whole 70% plus of single black moms having children out of wedlock, for whatever that's worth. So like, again, let's run with the theme of black men not being worth anything. Why are you still sleeping with them then? If that is the case, if what you're saying is true, and you're saying, I only value black men who has this, and this, but you're having children with black men who don't have anything. Does that logically make any sense? Example, I'll use myself. Prior to me meeting my wife, I dealt with a woman who had a child from someone else. She tried to lie and place the child on me. Now one would say, Matt, you seem like you have your head on your shoulders, and you seem like you pretty much have it together. Why would you want to mess with a woman who, one, had a child by another man, and two, was trying to basically, essentially trap you by saying she was pregnant? I biologically would say, you know what? I wasn't thinking. But that doesn't happen when it's the other way around. So when the woman deals with the man who already has a bunch of kids, who ain't taking care of those kids, but says, oh, surely he'll treat me differently, ignoring the track record, when that happens, then, oh, black men ain't spit. No accountability. See how I took accountability for my poor actions, my poor selection in women? And the funny thing about it is, and this is kind of a side note, I don't want to get too far off the beaten path, because I want to hammer this point home. It's funny how black men can be generalized as not being spit, even though you have black men who are spit. And probably more than spit, right? You would think. So why is it that when you talk about black women as a whole, especially if you talk about them online, they'll come to your post and say, ooh, you have to be specific. You have to address this. You have to address that. But you never address the fact that you have thugs, dealers, pushers, hustlers, whatever, busters, who you deal with, who you have children with, and you blame all black men. And black men don't have the time to sit there, or probably the mental patience, to sit there and say, oh, you need to be specific. You need to say it's a thug. You need to say it's a baller. We just move on because we understand we can't argue with an idiot, which has become the majority of black women. Now, I'm sure there's some idiot who thinks I'm talking about all black women, and surely I'm going to let you be an idiot and think that I'm talking about all black women. Now, back to my point. Now, if this was the case, what is the standard that is being set by the woman? Because remember, I gave the example of just a generic people, no black, white, Asian, nothing. Just a generic group. Woman over here says, I desire such and such and such. The man says, I desire you. So therefore, if I know I'm going to get you, I am going to provide you with all your desires. I'm going to give you such and such and such. So if that is the case, stupid eyelash. So if that's the case, what is the standard that is being set by these 70 plus single black moms dealing with men who don't want to be parents, who just want to drop off their special delivery and head back to headquarters? Why is this never addressed? Why is this never even talked about? And then when a person like me or anyone else brings this up, there's always some emotional person who wants to come there and says it ain't all. Or they'll say some stuff like, oh, I know this guy. Listen, we all know some guy who ain't worth a damn who gets everyone pregnant. Why is this? Clearly, there's something going on there. I'm not dumb enough to know, because I choose to be above the fray. So therefore, I don't know what the chemical compounds is of Dookie. I don't care about Dookie. I don't. So if you're dealing with men who ain't spit, then you probably need to do a self-evaluation and ask yourself, self, why am I dealing with men who ain't spit? And not say, well, black men ain't spit. No, it's the black men that you choose that ain't spit. Because, logically, and this is how I see that 70% single black mom rate, I see it as 70% of black women not being able to make a rational, logical decision to say, I'm 18, 19, 20, 21. I haven't really lived life. I probably shouldn't be having unprotected sex because I do know at some point I could get pregnant and I can have a child, and I just don't want to deal with the cost that comes with having a child, because children, to a point at the beginning, they're not really that expensive. Barely, they go with the flow, but then as they get older, they have their own wants, their own desires. I'm experiencing that. But I waited till I was 31 years old to have my first child. Why was that? Because I wanted to live life. Not only did I want to live life, I actually wanted to be with a woman after all my learning from my past mistakes. I said to myself, I want to be with a woman who wants to have a family, settle down, and be with me and me be with her. Not going to the club, not going out, hanging out with the friends. Just be with me and build a family. That's what I decided I want. So now, bringing myself back to the 70% plus percent, plus percent of women who have children out of wedlock in the black community. It tells me one of two things. It tells me, one, that black women, majority of them, have very low standards of what they expect from a relationship. Which means they expect to get children, but they don't expect that to ever keep a man. That's one thing that it tells me. The other thing that it tells me is that they don't desire very much beyond that. Because to be in a relationship is so much more than just the physical act of being intimate with one another. It's the spiritual, it's the mental, it's the psychological, which I guess is mental. But it's everything, it's all encompassing. It's not just his ability to screw you and your ability to screw him. And it also tells me that black women don't take care of their bodies. They don't value their bodies. I hear this, and I just hear this primarily online, which is hilarious to me. And I always hear this queen. Well, you know what? If you were a queen, then you wouldn't necessarily be letting anybody, you wouldn't let the court gesture sleep with you if you're in search for a king. If you're a princess, you wouldn't sleep with the homeless dude in the kingdom. You wouldn't sleep with the thief in the kingdom. You wouldn't have babies by the robber in the kingdom. You wouldn't do these things. You wouldn't sleep with the killer in the kingdom. You would be on the path to try to say, I want to find my prince, and I want to become a queen, and I want him to be my king. Now, there's also this misconception or this myth that black men aren't stepping up and they're not doing their job. Again, I go back to my life experiences. From junior high to high school to my 3-year stint in college. It's supposed to be only 2 years, but, In every case, whenever I pursued a woman, a female girl, they were initially receptive to me. And then when they saw that I wasn't the prototypical street dude, I didn't talk with slang. As I was told, I talk white. These were all knocks against me, which unfortunately in this world, if I don't talk a certain way, that would kind of help me, be able, if I could speak clearly and pronunciate and to sound like I do have some form of mind about myself, education, or whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't that seem to be more of a benefit than someone who can't even speak the English language properly? Who probably more than likely won't be able to get a job? Who more than likely probably won't be able to support a family because they don't care enough about themselves to teach themselves or to educate themselves. They're not going to care enough to teach and educate their children. But yet and still, I found it very odd that either the wannabe hard dude, the thug dude, the baller dude, the sports dude, the jock, they got all the play. The funny thing about it is, once you leave high school, junior high, high school, and then, it starts to filter, and then you get to college, and then it filters even more. Once you get into the real world, all those things that those girls desired means absolutely spit. So I find it very interesting that these are the type of dudes that these girls were going for. They weren't going for guys like me. They weren't going for guys who wanted to educate themselves and build themselves up and try to be somewhat of a productive person in society, in the world, and hopefully at some point be able to have the ability to change the world. They didn't want to be with dudes like that. They wanted to be dudes 7-foot dudes who played ball. They wanted to be with dudes who ran the street, sold drugs, had that fast, easy money, have a baby by them, dude get locked up, now you crying, oh, I'm a single mom. And this, my friends, destroys that whole black men ain't spit. Because there is a difference in black men. Wow. That's shocking news, isn't it? Not every black man is a thug, killer, baller, whatever. Alright? There are some black men who are about their business, who are about their children, who love their children. I am friends with some people, with some of those brothers who love their children, who would kick down a brick wall to get to their children, to do things for their babies, to be there to raise them, because most of us grew up in a home without a father. So therefore, most of us want to be a father to our children. But you have these bitches who, if they do get a good dude, they put him through hell. They treat him like crap. They don't know how to treat a good man, but then want to sit around and tell you what a real man is. They can't even tell you or begin to express or elaborate what a real woman is, what a real woman does, what a woman would do for her man. They can't tell you that. They can only tell you what a man could do for them, which tells you just how selfish majority of these single black moms are. I speak from experience. I once asked my mother, my father told you didn't want to have any children, why did you have it? She said, well, I was ready to be a mom. Think about that. Now, I'm not going around talking about I'm angry, I'm mad, and I'm just upset at the lies and the BS that black men have to endure constantly about being inept. When we go through the most bullcrap on the face of the planet, we got to get eyed from the cops. We got to get scrutinized when we do go for a damn job. And that's even if we ain't got a damn record. I had to go through a drug test, background screening, all this crap. I ain't even got a record. The worst I ever got was maybe a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. No, it was a right on red. It was like whatever. Well, anyways, that's the worst. That's the worst. And I still get scrutinized to just do the simplest crap. And then have to deal with this myth or this forced upon myth that black men ain't spitting, black men just they don't do nothing, they're lazy, I have 2 damn jobs, and I can't even afford to buy a damn new, brand new car, or even a brand new used car. Luckily I paid my car off, so I'm loving that. First time in like 15 years I don't have a damn car payment. Still paying for my wife's car though. But there's women that get brand new cars. They get assistance from the government. I work for everything I got. I don't have much, but I worked hard for it. But you won't hear my story. You won't hear that. You hear about T-Thug or whatever, this stupid crap that these black women name their kids now. You hear about their story. You hear about how they got all 5 different kids in 6 different cities. You hear about that, but you don't hear about a hard-working dude who's out there trying to be something and become something and raise his son up to be better than I was. Give him an opportunity, more opportunities than I had. So he won't have to take out thousands of dollars in student loans if he wants to go to college. Have a foundation. I didn't have that. I had to work hard. But I don't get credit for that because I'm overridden by a thug in the street who got some chick pregnant who wanted to go on TV or somewhere, who professed from the time I was born. I'm 33 damn years old, and it seemed like all my entire damn life I've been hearing about how black men ain't spit. But you don't hear nothing about how these damn black women ain't spit. How this damn violent ass black woman across the street told her daughter she gonna slap her so hard the braids gonna come out her hair. You don't hear about them crappy ass, spitty ass parents, women. You don't hear about them. They all queens. They ain't queens. They a piece of crap hanging out a donkey's behind on a hot day in late August. That's what they are, and that is the majority of these single black moms. Am I talking about all? If you still think I'm talking about all, you are it. That's who I'm talking about if you think I'm talking about all. But I'm passionate about this because I know brothers who go through the struggle, who deal with these bitches who ain't worth a damn, and they admit, I regret it, I shouldn't have done it, but I don't regret my children. They can take that. They have to eat their medicine, but these whores don't ever have to take their medicine. They can blame the man they let the man come in, but it's the man's fault. Anyways, this video is getting way long, and I'm getting way emotional, and I'm getting way heated. Well, I don't say I'm getting emotional, but I'm just getting heated because I'm passionate. Because again, I know brothers who would kick and punch down brick walls for their kids, and they don't get the respect. I don't really care. You ain't gotta respect me, but at least respect the dudes who are out there doing it. I do it because I know that's what I'm supposed to do. As a father, I'm supposed to protect and provide and teach my children. But apparently some of these black women don't understand what a real man really is. But we don't want to talk about that. We just want to talk about what T-Thug is doing. The black community.